Salvage and innovation. The void between Mars and Jupiter held secrets most humans would never know. Commander Elena Rice preferred it that way. The salvage vessel Reclaimer drifted silently through the asteroid belt, its advanced sensors sweeping for anything of value amid the cosmic rubble. Elena stood on the bridge, her weathered face illuminated by holographic displays as she sipped coffee from a chipped mug bearing the faded Earth Space Initiative logo. "Commander, we've got something unusual at bearing 047 Mark 223, called out sensor technician Kai Zhang, his voice carrying a rare note of excitement. "It doesn't match any known human signature." Elena moved to his station, setting her mug in a magnetic holder. "Show me." The display shifted to reveal an object unlike anything she'd seen in 15 years of salvage operations. It was sleek, with an organic quality to its design that human engineering hadn't yet mastered. The vessel, if that's what it was, appeared damaged, with a significant breach along one side, but was otherwise intact. "Is it broadcasting?" she asked. "Negative. It's completely cold," John replied. "No power signatures detectable." Elena's lips curved into a smile that didn't reach her eyes. "Prepare the recovery drones." This just became a priority salvage. Hours later, the alien vessel was secured in Reclaimer's cavernous hold. Elena led her engineering team through an airlock into what appeared to be the command center. The interior was as alien as the exterior, designed for beings with different proportions than humans. Surfaces were smooth and lustrous, with no visible seams or fasteners. "Look at this material," murmured Dr. Sophia Okafor, the ship's chief engineer, running her hand over what appeared to be the main control interface. "I've never seen an alloy with these properties. It's absorbing thermal energy from my hand, but I can't feel any temperature change." "Can we power any of it up?" Elena asked. Sophia shook her head. "Not here. Whatever their power source was, it's either depleted or damaged beyond repair. We'll need to get this back to Ceres Station for proper analysis." 2 days later, the Reclaimer docked at Ceres, humanity's largest off-Earth research facility. Word of their find had preceded them, and a delegation awaited their arrival, including, to Elena's dismay, representatives from the Astral Confederation. The Confederation had made contact with Earth 5 years earlier, introducing humanity to the reality that they were far from alone in the galaxy. But rather than welcomed as equals, Earth had been classified as a pre-emergence civilization, a polite term for primitives not yet worthy of full diplomatic relations or technology sharing. Admiral Hassan Chen, Earth Defense Force's head of research and development, greeted Elena warmly before introducing the aliens. "Commander Rice, this is Envoy Talon of the Astral Confederation. They've expressed interest in your discovery." The alien was tall and willowy, with iridescent skin that shifted colors subtly as it moved. Its eyes, 4 of them, arranged in a diamond pattern, regarded Elena with what she interpreted as disdain. "The vessel you have recovered belongs to the Carson Imperium," Talon stated, its translator rendering the words in flat, emotionless English. "It is classified technology that humans are not authorized to possess or study. We will be taking custody immediately." Elena crossed her arms. "With respect, Envoy, salvage laws in our system are clear. We found it. We recovered it. We claim ownership rights. Your primitive legal frameworks do not supersede Confederation protocols," Talon replied. "The technology aboard that vessel is centuries beyond your current development level. You would not even understand how to properly dismantle it." Admiral Chen cleared his throat. "Perhaps we can reach a compromise. The Confederation takes possession of any weaponry or classified systems, while Earth retains the right to study the structural components and basic propulsion." Talon's skin rippled in what Elena had learned was a sign of contempt. "The Carson vessel contains nothing of value to humans, but in the interest of diplomatic relations, you may keep the hull materials and study the basic propulsion concepts. All other systems must be surrendered." After the Confederation representatives departed with crates of components from the alien ship, Elena found Admiral Chen in the observation lounge overlooking the main research bay where the stripped vessel now rested. "They took everything useful, didn't they?" she asked, frustration evident in her voice. Chen's expression remained carefully neutral. "Not everything. They were in such a hurry to confiscate what they considered dangerous, they failed to realize what we actually wanted." Which was the structural design principles, the hull material composition, the way they configure their power distribution. Chen turned to face her. "The Confederation treats us like children who might hurt ourselves with advanced technology. They fail to understand that humans have always excelled at one thing: adaptation." "What exactly are you planning, Admiral?" "Project Daedalus," Chen replied. "Named after the mythical inventor who built wings to escape imprisonment. The Confederation won't share their technology, so we'll create our own from what we can learn. And I want you to lead the salvage operations." 6 months later, Elena's role had expanded far beyond salvage. The Reclaimer and 3 sister ships now specifically sought out debris from skirmishes between Confederation forces and their various adversaries. Each fragment of alien technology was carefully cataloged and studied, revealing different approaches to the same fundamental challenges of space travel. In a secured facility beneath Olympus Mons on Mars, hundreds of Earth's brightest minds reverse-engineered what they could and innovated where they couldn't. What emerged wasn't a copy of Confederation technology, but something uniquely human, a hybrid approach that combined alien principles with human ingenuity. "The problem with Confederation ships," explained Dr. Okafor, now the lead engineer on Project Daedalus, "is that they're designed for species that have never known resource scarcity. They build with redundancy upon redundancy, using exotic materials that are rare even by galactic standards." She gestured to the prototype taking shape in the massive underground hangar. Unlike the sleek, seamless designs favored by the Confederation, the human vessel was modular, with distinct sections that could be separated or replaced as needed. "We can't match their material science yet, so we designed around that limitation. Our hull uses a layered approach, alternating sheets of graphene-reinforced titanium with vacuum gaps and radiation shielding. It's 60% as effective as their monomaterial hulls, but uses resources we can actually produce." The propulsion system represented their greatest innovation. Unable to replicate the Confederation's faster-than-light drive completely, Earth's scientists had created what they called a skip drive, capable of making multiple short jumps through subspace rather than a single continuous journey. It was less efficient but more adaptable, allowing for mid-course corrections impossible with Confederation technology. Admiral Chen watched the prototype with a mixture of pride and apprehension. "How soon until it's ready for testing?" 3 weeks, Safia replied. "We're calling her Phoenix." On the day of the test flight, Elena found herself unexpectedly in the pilot's seat. As the salvage captain who had found the original alien vessel, the honor of the first flight had been offered to her. The Phoenix hummed with power as she guided it out of Mars orbit and toward the designated testing area in the outer solar system. "All systems nominal," reported Zhang, now serving as her sensor officer. "Skip drive calculations complete. We're ready when you are, Commander." Elena took a deep breath. "Engage skip drive on my mark." 3, 2, 1, mark. The stars blurred as space itself seemed to fold around the ship. For 3 seconds that felt like an eternity, Elena experienced the disorienting sensation of being everywhere and nowhere simultaneously. Then with a subtle lurch, normal space returned. "Skip complete," Zhang announced. "Position verified. We're at the Neptune L4 point. Exactly where we plan to be." Cheers erupted across the command deck and through the communication link to mission control on Mars. The Phoenix had just traveled a distance that would have taken a conventional human ship months to cross. In mere seconds, "Run a complete diagnostic," Elena ordered, maintaining her composure despite the excitement bubbling through her. "Let's make sure nothing shook loose during the jump." As the crew conducted their checks, Zhang suddenly grew quiet, his eyes fixed on his display. "Commander, we're being scanned." By what? There shouldn't be anything out here. Unknown vessel, just decloaked at extreme sensor range. Configuration matches. Confederation diplomatic corvette. Elena's exhilaration faded. Their test hadn't been as secret as they'd hoped. Open a channel. The communication screen activated to reveal the now familiar face of Envoy Talon. Its 4 eyes blinked in sequence. A gesture Elena had learned indicated surprise. "Commander Reyes," the alien said, "the Confederation was informed you were conducting propulsion tests. We did not expect to detect a partially functional skip drive." "Fully functional, actually," Elena corrected, unable to keep a note of pride from her voice. "Is there a problem, Envoy? You have developed technology beyond your authorized advancement level." Talon's skin shifted to a deep indigo. Concern, possibly anger. "The Confederation Council will need to reassess Earth's classification." "We'd welcome that reassessment," Elena replied coolly. "Perhaps this time you'll recognize that humans don't need permission to reach for the stars." As the communication ended, Admiral Chen's voice came through on a secure channel. "Well done, Commander. You've just changed humanity's future. Come home. We have work to do." Elena looked around at her crew. Humans who had just accomplished what the Confederation had deemed impossible. "You heard the Admiral," she said. "Let's go home and build a fleet." Revolution and redemption. 10 years passed. What had begun with the Phoenix prototype had evolved into Earth's first interstellar defense fleet. 30 vessels of varying sizes and specializations now protected human interests throughout the solar system and beyond, to the 3 colony worlds humanity had established in nearby star systems. Admiral Elena Reyes, promoted after the success of Project Daedalus, stood on the observation deck of Earth Orbital Command, watching as the newest addition to the fleet, the heavy cruiser Defiant, maneuvered into formation. Unlike the earlier ships, which still showed their hybrid nature, the Defiant represented the next generation of human innovation. Technology that had moved beyond mere adaptation of alien concepts to novel approaches uniquely suited to human needs and capabilities. "Impressive, isn't she?" asked Admiral Chen, now silver-haired but still sharp as ever. The Confederation technical attaché nearly had an aneurysm when he reviewed the specifications. Elena smiled. "How are the diplomatic talks progressing?" "Slowly. The Confederation still hasn't decided whether to upgrade our status from pre-emergence to limited partnership. They acknowledge our technological achievements but remain concerned about our, what did the envoy call it? Our unpredictable innovation vectors. They're afraid of us," Elena stated bluntly. "We've accomplished in a decade what takes most species centuries, according to their own development models." "Speaking of which," Chen said, his expression turning serious, "we've received an unusual transmission from Confederation Central Command. Priority 1. They're requesting a face-to-face meeting." Hours later, Elena and Chen sat across from not just Envoy Talon, but 3 other Confederation representatives, including a military commander whose elaborate uniform suggested high rank. "We appreciate your prompt response to our request," Talon began, its skin a muted gray that Elena had never observed before. "The situation is unprecedented." The military commander leaned forward. "The Carson Armada has breached Confederation defenses in the Procyon sector. 3 systems have already fallen. Their advance appears unstoppable using conventional tactics." Elena exchanged glances with Chen. The Carson, the same species whose abandoned ship had jump-started Earth's technological revolution, had been mentioned as a distant threat, but this was the first suggestion of open warfare. "Why tell us?" Elena asked directly. "Earth isn't part of the Confederation defense network." "Because the Carson will not stop with Confederation worlds," Talon replied. "Their expansion is systematic and absolute. If they break through our remaining defenses, Earth will be directly in their path." And added the Confederation commander with visible reluctance, "because our standard battle doctrine has proven ineffective against their current strategies. The Confederation Council has authorized me to Request tactical assistance from Earth Defense Force. The request hung in the air, heavy with irony. The mighty Confederation, which had dismissed humans as primitives, was now asking for their help. What exactly are you proposing? Chen asked carefully. A joint defensive operation, the commander replied. The Carson fleet will reach the Ta City checkpoint in approximately 12 Earth days. We are repositioning assets to make a stand there. And what does Earth receive in return for this assistance? Elena asked. Talon's skin shifted to a deep purple, a color Elena had learned indicated discomfort or concession. Full partnership status within the Confederation, unrestricted technology exchange, and, it hesitated, a permanent seat on the Security Council. Everything humanity had sought for 10 years, offered in a moment of desperation. Elena maintained her professional demeanor, but beneath it, satisfaction bloomed. We'll need to consult with Earth government, of course, but speaking for Earth Defense Force, I believe we can offer substantive assistance. 3 days later, after intensive planning sessions, Elena addressed the captains of Earth's fleet from the bridge of her flagship, the Indomitable. The Confederation expects us to integrate our ships into their battle formations, she explained, gesturing to the tactical display showing both fleets. That's not going to happen. We'll coordinate with them, but we fight our way, the human way. Captain Maya Rodriguez of the Defiant spoke up. The Confederation ships have superior firepower and shielding. What exactly is the human way when we're outgunned? Elena smiled. Innovation, adaptation, and a healthy disrespect for conventional wisdom. She expanded the tactical display. The Carson rely on overwhelming force, massive capital ships with devastating energy weapons. But our analysis of their previous engagements shows 3 critical vulnerabilities that the Confederation has failed to exploit. She highlighted specific sections of the enemy ship designs. First, their sensor arrays are concentrated and heavily shielded, but operate on predictable frequency patterns. Second, their ships are designed for frontal engagement. Nearly all weapons face forward, with minimal point defense coverage at the rear. And third, they rely on a centralized command structure. Their fleet movements are coordinated from their flagship. So we blind them, hit them from behind, and cut off their head, summarized Captain Hiroshi Tanaka of the cruiser Audacity. Simple in theory, considerably harder in execution. That's why we've been developing these, Elena replied, bringing up schematics for a device labeled QUITSTORM. Quantum interference emitters. They won't penetrate Carson shields directly, but they don't need to. When deployed in a specific pattern, they create a cascading disruption effect that temporarily blinds their sensor networks. The briefing continued for hours as Elena outlined a battle plan unlike anything in the Confederation tactical database. When the joint fleet finally arrived at Ta City, the Confederation commander was visibly skeptical. Your vessels will be positioned at the rear of our formation, he insisted during the final coordination meeting. Your weapons are inadequate for frontline engagement with Carson warships. Actually, Elena replied calmly, we'll be deploying according to our own tactical assessment. Our ships are faster and more maneuverable than yours. We'll act as the forward element. That is contrary to established doctrine. Established doctrine has failed against the Carson. Chen interrupted. Perhaps it's time to try something that isn't in their tactical database. When the Carson fleet emerged from hyperspace, 47 warships arrayed in their trademark crescent formation, the Confederation forces held position in a traditional defensive wall. The Earth vessels, however, were nowhere to be seen. The Carson advanced as expected, their massive forward batteries powering up for the opening salvo. The lead ship transmitted the customary demand for surrender, a formality before annihilation. Then, just as their weapons reached full charge, chaos erupted. The Earth fleet had been hiding in the shadow of Ta City's larger planets. Now they surged forward, smaller vessels moving in complex patterns that defied targeting algorithms, while the larger cruisers deployed the QUITSTORM devices in a precisely calculated array. The effect was immediate. Carson targeting sensors flickered and failed. Their formation began to break as individual captains lost coordination with the flagship. Into this confusion, Earth's vessels launched their attack, not with energy weapons, but with hundreds of small, maneuverable drones that attached themselves to the Carson ship's engine sections. Confederation fleet, advance now. Elena commanded over the Joint Tactical Channel. Focus fire on their flagship's forward shields. For a crucial moment, the Confederation commander hesitated, watching the unorthodox battle unfold. Then, seeing the Carson formation disintegrating, he gave the order. The Confederation warships surged forward, their superior firepower now brought to bear against an enemy in disarray. The drones attached to the Carson vessels activated simultaneously, releasing charged particle fields that disrupted the ship's power distribution networks. Weapons systems failed, engines sputtered, and the mighty Carson flagship found itself caught between the hammer of the Confederation's frontal assault and the anvil of Earth's cruisers attacking from behind. 3 hours later, it was over. The Carson fleet had been decimated, not through superior firepower, but through tactical innovation that their rigid command structure couldn't adapt to quickly enough. The remnants of their forces retreated in disarray, jumping to hyperspace on courses that suggested internal confusion rather than coordinated withdrawal. In the aftermath, Elena stood on the bridge of the Indomitable, surveying the damage reports. Earth's fleet had suffered losses, 3 smaller vessels destroyed, several others damaged, but had performed beyond even her expectations. A communication request came through from the Confederation flagship, and Voitelon appeared on screen, its skin now a shade of blue that Elena had never seen before. Admiral Reyes, it said, its translator unable to fully capture what sounded like awe in its voice. The Confederation Council has convened an emergency session. Your species has been reclassified, effective immediately. Earth is now recognized as a full partner in the Confederation, with all rights and privileges thereof. Thank you, Envoy, Elena replied. We look forward to a more equitable relationship moving forward. There is more, Talon continued. The Council wishes to establish a joint technological development initiative. Your approach to warfare, to problem solving, is unlike anything in our records. We believe there is much we can learn from each other. As the communication ended, Admiral Chen joined Elena at the viewport. Together they watched as the combined fleet regrouped, human and alien vessels now flying side by side as equals. Not bad for primitives who weren't ready for the galactic community, Chen remarked. Elena smiled, thinking of the journey from that first salvaged alien ship to this moment of triumph. Humans have always excelled at making something extraordinary from scraps others discard. It's what we do. In the vastness of space around them, the stars seem to shine a little brighter on humanity's new place in the cosmos, earned not through age or inheritance, but through the uniquely human traits of adaptation, innovation, and the stubborn refusal to accept limitations imposed by others.